I have a big list of things I want to go over tonight. I'm going to try to keep each little topic. I'm trying to think how to say this. I'm going to try to keep each topic concise. I'm going to try not to ramble. It goes against everything in my southern head not to, but I'm going to do my very, very best, okay? First of all, I want to tell you guys I hosted a leaders retreat at my house this last weekend for those who are on my levels 1 through 3 who earned it, the ones who took part in the contest and wanted, this is something they wanted to shoot for, and ended up with 4 people here. And I want to congratulate them publicly because they really worked their rear off. They did things that made them uncomfortable in order to earn this. They did videos. They did online launch parties. They did Zoom trainings with their team. They sponsored several new level 1s and helped several of their level 1s to go silver, among many other things, in order to win this leaders retreat. And the ones that were here it was completely divinely orchestrated. Now looking back, it's like, wow, because we started off with a curriculum that I thought, some of it was plexus and some of it was just self-growth type stuff. And it turned into something totally God inspired, where it was very much led by the Holy Spirit. I was very excited about it. I still am. I think there's a lot that will come out of this leadership wise for these ladies, and also kind of even conspiring together, because we have a group message where we're like talking to each other and working on new things, and we'll be sharing lots of info with everyone, so everyone will be able to take part in this. But I did want to congratulate them. Teresa Richter is one of the ladies. Erin Crowell, depends on how you know her, just saying. I call her Crowell, but that's not apparently what her parents called her when she was growing up. It's Crowell. Katie Reeder and Missy Rogers. And of course, Jetty and I were here, and it was just a lot of fun was had by all. And we learned so much and grew so much. And I can't, like when these ladies were talking to me at the end, they were saying, I'm going to go back to my team and they're going to expect me to have something that I can put out there for them. And I'm coming away from the weekend with something I can't describe. And I totally understood what they felt, because I felt that same way. It was like, wow, so much stuff that blew us away. So many revelations about our businesses and such. So anyway, I wanted to congratulate them first and foremost. For those of you who I had promised, and you are on standby waiting on that new ambassador checklist, it is on the butterfly page. It's been on there for more than a week. But in case you haven't seen it yet, I wanted to draw your attention back to it. If there's something on it, I completely encourage you to take that list and make it your own. So if you if there's a video that you want to actually take and you like, okay, I know something I would rather replace that video with. It's all in document form. It's completely easy for you to make it easy to make it tailor fit and custom fit for your team and your team page. So don't feel like that you're obligated to keep that checklist the way we do. I did put a lot of prayer into that, and I felt like it was like kind of a general overall hit on the topics that I feel most ambassadors struggle with. Another thing that was pointed out to me, and it has come to my realization in the last few weeks, is a lot of the stuff that I talk about on these Zoom calls, I try not to repeat myself, and I feel like that's probably a mistake. And what I mean by that is I tried to do them in an order when I started doing Zoom calls. I wanted to do them in an order where it's like beginning ambassadors can start with my first Zoom call and watch the second one and the third one and the fourth one. And the first one's about their why. Their second one is about, the products. The third one is about whatever. I'm making up what they're about, but I feel like they're in a perfect lineup so that people can watch them and build upon. Each one will build upon itself. And then we've gotten to a point where I know that probably a new ambassador would join us and be like, what is she talking about? I only want to know how to go silver. And I don't want people to feel that way. So probably what you will see from me in the next few weeks is some sort of Starting back over at the beginning so that everybody feels like, okay, I can invite new ambassadors and they're not going to feel overwhelmed with all her crazy spirit nonsense. It's not, but just in case they feel that way, I don't want anybody to feel that way. I want everybody to feel welcome and to join us at the exact place that they are, what in their life, in their business, in their spirit nonsense, whatever, everything. So I'm going to touch on a couple of things with you guys tonight in the spirit of that. One that I probably, if I were to answer the question, Lori, put a topic on what you feel like you spend the day doing the most, plexus-wise. Like if you were to look at your messages and give them an overall title, what's the title that you would title them? And my answer would be troubleshooting. Now, that's because I'm a product girl, and that's because I made a lot of videos, and not everyone in the company, a lot of people in the company reach out to me because I seem so smart on my videos. They think I'm going to know the answer to their questions. I'm making a really funny assumption there. I have no idea why they reach out to me, but I'm just, I'm going to say that's why, because that makes me feel good. But here's the thing. Troubleshooting is a real thing. However, it can be, if you're not good at it, it can be to the demise of your business. If you're like, somebody says, look, I have this, this, and this going on. And if you're like, I have no idea why that would be going on with you, with the products. I'm talking straight products right now, not business. If you have no idea, first of all, it makes you feel inadequate. It makes you feel like, uh-oh, they're going to quit. First of all, I highly encourage you not to let your brain go there, because that's not an absolute truth. I have put together a checklist months ago that I use when I'm troubleshooting with someone. And would you guys like for me to show it to you so that you can go, this is the first question I should ask them. So, okay, yes, I see heads nodding. Okay, so the first thing that people do is they come to me and they say, I have a customer or ambassador who has, and they'll tell me, one thing going on, or they'll tell me 15 things going on. And since they started the Slim, it is worse or better, but then this is a little bit worse and this is a little bit better. And you think, God, there's so many variables, but the truth is there are not a lot of variables. So I'm going to show you, let me see if I can do this cleanly, show you. Hang with me for just a moment. Okay. Where did it go? Can somebody tell me? Give me 1 second here. I'm going to find it. I had it pulled up, but I since then have clicked the link. First of all, I'm going to the butterfly page to show you that it indeed is on the butterfly page. So if you should need it. Okay. Can somebody unmute themselves and tell me that you can still hear me? Because Jetty is usually on the call with me.
Yes, we can still hear you.
Okay, wonderful. Usually he texts me and says, I can't hear you. So, okay, this is my response to literally I would say 99% of the people who ask me a question. I say, I'm so sorry to hear that, whatever their issue is. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on. And then I begin asking a question or two at a time. Starting with the very first, I think the very most important question is, because we can make too many assumptions, we need to ask them, what results are you after? Or what results are you looking for? That's the question we're wanting to know. Because if this person is looking for weight loss results, or if they are looking for something completely opposite of that, like autoimmune results, their answers to the rest of the questions are going to be totally different. So, I mean, you need to understand that. So then you want to point out, basically, have you had any non-scale victories? Are you sleeping better? More energy? Are you concentrating better? Did you measure? Okay. Now these are, I ask them literally 1 or 2 of these questions at a time. So what results, tell me, Sarah, what results are you looking for if you don't already know the answer to this question? If they say, well, I've been hoping that I would quit having so much trouble with like heartburn, for example. Okay, I'm trying to think of something pretty simple. Heartburn and also indigestion or something like that. And you say, okay, first you want to point out to them the non-scale victories. I'm curious, have you had any non-scale victories? Are you sleeping better? Do you have more energy? Are you concentrating better? If they had a weight loss goal, you want to ask them, did they measure? And then you have to ask, what products are you taking? Generally speaking, if they're on the butterfly team, they're already on the triplex. But if they're not, that's my first recommendation. Okay, first and foremost, and I want to explain to you why. And by the way, I will share this with you, but I need to see your faces again. So give me a second. Okay. Why it's so important that you share with them about the triplex is because the triplex addresses the very most common building block issues of our health. So blood sugar problems, hormone problems, inflammation, and gut health. That's sort of a really like simple way to describe what the triplex will do for people. Also, your general indigestion, or digestion type problems. If a person addresses all of those, that creates a very good foundation and a building block upon which they can actually begin to see results, overall health, better immune function, so on and so forth. So besides just troubleshooting, another question that I often address is, well, I have this going on. What products should I be taking? And it is almost never that you will hear me say anything other than the triplex. I'm not saying that that's the only thing that they need to be on, but I'm saying I hardly ever say anything less than the triplex. It's almost always. And that is because of what I just explained to you. It is the building block for balance in people's health. So it's, to me, I feel like a broken record. I promise you. I'm always like, but are you on the triplex? Girl, are you on the triplex? And if they're like, no, I'm on Slim and Boost, or I'm on Slim and Accelerator, or whatever, I always come back and say, get back to me after you've tried the triplex, because that to me addresses all the body's systems that we have and makes sure that you're in balance so that you can actually have proper immune function, and so that your God-given ability to heal itself can do its thing. Now, I know some of you are like, blah, 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 we know this. But if you're brand new, you may be like, Epiphany, I didn't know that. I'm so glad to know that. I know I'm looking at faces that I do know it, so I feel kind of like, sorry. But I know there's faces on here who don't know that. Now, okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to share my screen with you again, go back to my troubleshooting thing. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to know, and you can ask this whatever way you want to ask it, but you want to say to them, specifically if it's weight loss related. Okay, you got your dukes up. So are you fighting with or against the products? Like, are your daily choices lining up with, I want to lose weight, or I want to conquer my sugar cravings? Are you making daily consistent choices that line up with the fact that you're paying for and the next question, how much water? Oh my Lord, don't get me started on water. I was the biggest baby about water, like major. My dad would have called it suck tit baby. He just said, don't be such a suck tit baby. I'm sorry, but that's just the word he used. Anyway, if that's a cuss word in your world, I'm sorry. My dad just used it as a condescending label. And so don't be such a suck tit baby about the water. If water is hard for you, imagine third world countries who have none. All you got to do is imagine that one little baby who needs a bottle of water and they don't have a well. And then you can get over your suck-tit baby problem and get yourself some water and start drinking it, okay? It's a big no-no for people who are all like, I really want to lose some weight, but I really love my soda pop, okay? So here's the thing. I always say, do you know many thin people who daily drink a lot of soda pop? And the answer is like, oh, not many. Well, then don't blame Plexus if you have an issue. Okay. Water is huge. Water is huge, and also their daily choices. Oh my gosh, I can go on and on and on and on. The thing is, like, anytime I'm thicker than I want to be, I know it's not my product's fault. I know. So you won't hear me being like, can somebody help me figure out why I don't drink enough water? I mean, I don't know. I was wondering if you know. Do you happen to know? Because I don't know why I don't drink enough water, and it's my fault. Okay, I'm going to get off of that, but that's a big thing. Sharing the screen with you again. Here we go. This is another big issue with people. It probably should be earlier in the questions, but the first questions are building your foundation to let them know that you really do want to help them. You want to know if they take other meds, and specifically the ones that I find are the most common meds and the most common troubleshooting issues are artificial hormones, thyroid meds, and antidepressants. Now, those seem to slow down the results, specifically in weight loss, but also can cause a slowdown of results in autoimmune areas too. Mostly antidepressants for some reason, and I'm not sure. Even birth control pills, as needed as they seem to be in this society, today's day and age, they seem like it's like, well, everybody has to be on those. But the thing is, lots of times that I think that's at the core of someone's problem. Now, I'm not instructing you to educate people on that, because people make their choices based on other than your opinion. So, but I'm just educating you here. Consistency. That's another question I ask them. I say, after they've answered these other questions, I generally come back and say, and you are taking these products consistently, right? After I've asked all these other questions, they're usually going to say, well, I don't always remember to take my BioCleanse or whatever. Something. That gives you a clue into how to troubleshoot with the person and give them advice. Are you pooping? Do you have a stagnant lifestyle? The next one where it says movement. Basically, is it a person who has a desk job and they don't really get out and about? Don't do much moving around. And you should actually advise them to get out and move around. Sugar intake. This is big. This is like I don't know if it's the whole United States, but it's for sure where I come from. We love on people with sugar. Like when somebody's sad, we bake them a cake. When somebody's happy, we also bake them a cake. We always love to make things for people and love on our children and congratulate our children with sugar. So I highly encourage people who, I've done everything. If they've passed this checklist with flying colors, they're like, no, it's not that. No, it's not that. No, it's not that. And you get to the very bottom, you say, okay, I want to give you a challenge. I want you to do a 3-day sugar fast. And tell them, I want you to check back in with me on the 4th day and tell me how it went. Does this checklist help you guys? The ones of you who don't already know this checklist. Okay. It's on the butterfly page. We'll bump it back up to the top. But here's what I have to say about it all. If they do, here's the general consensus. You may be like, what happens at the end of the sugar challenge? Well, one of two things will happen. They'll have either figured out that that was their problem, or they won't do the sugar challenge and they won't bother you on the 4th day because they're embarrassed to say, I didn't do it. So it's always one of those two things. They'll either be like, okay, that was my issue because now I realize I feel like I have more control over sugar. I also highly encourage you as an ambassador, And I was actually speaking with some friends of mine today, telling them, I highly encourage you to be in the mode of, you come to a brick wall with your products. Like I was getting great results, but then boom, I had an issue. The general rule of thumb is if you will do a 3-day sugar fast, it will kick your products back into gear. I can tell you a million scientific reasons why that is. The most important fact, though, is that it's true. So if you have someone come and tell you they were working, now they're not. Sugar is almost always my go-to thing. I just saw the word carrageenan pop up. Heather Grenier, but of course. Carrageenan, if you've educated yourself on carrageenan, and I highly suggest that you do that, then that is a huge troubleshooting tip and should be really near the top of the list for people who are struggling with autoimmune, well, almost any health issue. I've about labeled almost all health issues as autoimmune in some way or the other. So if someone's struggling with a health issue, you need to have them check their food to see if they are consuming something daily that has carrageenan in it. Now, here's the thing. My tip about carrageenan is I think it's literally like one example of Satan himself. I think the stuff is nasty as all get out. I think no one should consume it. However, if you tell someone that who is lackadaisical, they're like, wishy-washy about taking the products, and they're like, about their water intake, and they like still drink soda pop, and it's probably not their first problem. Now, if it's someone who's not about things, and you feel like it's someone who is coachable, teachable, you want to go to them and say, look, this could be a problem. Your coffee creamer, your cottage cheese, your sour cream, something probably has carrageenan in it. And I maybe say it may be carrageenan, but I've always said it with the other G. Anyway, if they are serious about getting their health straight and they go to look at their refrigerator, they may flip out on you. This is why you need to be educated on it before you put it in your troubleshooting tips. They may be like, it's in everything in my refrigerator. What in the world? And here's what you can say to them. It's in everything in your refrigerator just because you don't know the brands to shop for. And so basically it's not like, it doesn't cause a huge jump in price to change to things that don't have carrageenan. It's just a matter of looking at the label. So when they go to when they go grocery shopping and such, they need to shop for Daisy sour cream. They need to shop for, they need to make sure that their almond milk, those types of things, even if they think they're eating healthy. People tell me all the time, oh, I'm vegetarian. I say, that's good for you. And carrageenan is a plant. So it's probably in everything that you eat. That doesn't mean that you're like, they try to tell me that about carrageenan all the time. They're like, oh, I'm vegetarian. I'm totally healthy. And I say, however, you need to probably check several of the things that you eat. So that's another great troubleshooting tip, especially for people who struggle with inflammation, people who struggle with asthma, which is inflammation, any type of stomach problem, any kind of rash, any kind of like headache. Well, the list could go on. If it falls under an autoimmune disorder, you definitely, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Okay. The next thing on my list, we'll bump that troubleshooting list up. I highly suggest that everybody put it in the notes portion of your phone. You know how to do this, right? You know how to put a graphic in the notes portion of your phone. If you have an iPhone, you just go to the notes portion, you open up a brand new note, you push your finger down on it, you wait, and then it'll let you insert a photo. Like when I figured this out, I was like, hallelujah, I'm so glad to know how to do that. Put it in there and label it as troubleshooting. So then you can like scroll down, and at the top it'll give you a search bar, and you can type in troubleshooting, and it'll pull up that very graphic for you every time you need it. I also put the joining graphic like that. I put the how to order graphic like that. all of my graphics are in my notes in my phone so that I don't have to go scrolling through pictures. It's all in the notes portion of my phone. Okay. Well, I think I've already hit on this next thing I have on my list is the consistency on the products. That was downloaded to me today. If you're selling Plexus products and you yourself are not consistent on the products, it is putting out a false front for people. And I think it's very difficult, cosmically speaking, to draw people to you unless you are consistent on the products. Big deal. Okay. Next thing. Give me a second. Okay. I did an interview probably a month ago, but it was released recently with a friend of mine from high school, and he has a podcast. And for me to say friend from high school kind of makes him sound a little lesser than what he is, because he could just be like any old boy from high school. He has this amazing podcast. It's called Idea Charger, where he interviews people who are successful in business. And I started listening to his stuff, and now I'm a little bit addicted to it. He sent me give me 1 second. He sent me a link a minute ago, because I said, if I were going to send people to be like plugging in with you, basically, where you can listen to his podcast and listen to interviews that he does. He has a charming gift that has a way of getting people to tell their secrets. He's very unassuming, and people just are like, next thing you know, you're telling your secrets. So he's very entertaining to listen to. I would highly encourage you to turn his stuff on at, like while you're driving or something, and listen to interviews that he's done with people. His name is Scott Cooksey. I have his actual website. It's called ideacharger.com. And you can register for emails about the weekly episodes on that website, on the upper right side. He has a Facebook page as well. So I'll put that on the butterfly page if you guys will remind me. His stuff is very good. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about, I know I'm speeding through super fast, but I want to make sure I get it all covered. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about, I'm going to share my screen with you again, is branding yourself. I'll share the screen in a minute. I need to talk to you about it first. I think when I got involved in Plexus, I didn't know how important branding myself was going to be. If you plan on being a leader in this company, it's not imperative. Like, there are leaders all over this company who haven't branded themselves. However, I think it makes your path easier if you do brand yourself in a way. Like, when people think of you, they associate something with you. For me, whether fortunately or unfortunately, it's a toenail. It's fungus. It's candida. Now, that's not something I would have necessarily chosen for myself when I was thinking about it, because in my photography business, it was strawberries. I was strawberry blonde photography, and everything I had, every logo I had, every Christmas parade float and business card that I had anything to do with had strawberries all over it. And to me, that was super fun and cute. And then I get involved in this business. Oh, yes, that's true. Butterflies. I do have people now who definitely associate butterflies with me. However, what I think really branded me in a way that caused people to be drawn to my information, it was candida. Now, it doesn't have to be what yours is. In fact, whatever. It could be or might not be. But I think people struggle with understanding how to brand themselves. And so I was going to go over with you guys some tips that would help you in that area. Now, this is like, I covered up like all the newbie stuff early in the call. Now I want to cover some stuff that's like, I've been with the business for a while, and I feel like that's what I want to do. I want to set myself apart in my area or with my friends. Let's say you are friends with lots of people who have lots of friends who sell Plexus, and you want to set yourself apart amongst your followership. So this is what I'm going to share with you guys. Give me a second here. And then I'll also put this on the butterfly page. I'm hoping you guys can see this. If not, somebody needs to text me. Okay. Page 1. I'm just going to go through these questions with you really briefly, but then you can actually use this as a worksheet. Print it out, and if you're at that stage in the game where you're like, yes, this is something I need to do, that I feel like I'm being led to do. What is your unique message? Answer the following questions to help you define your brand. What causes or people are you drawn to? For me, I'm just going to give you my answers. Obviously, your answers will be different, but I'm just trying to get your brain spinning. Like for me, what causes or people that I'm drawn to? I would say I'm very drawn to people that need the information that I have gained. Very much drawn to helping people who struggle with autoimmune disorders, who unknowingly struggle with health issues that they don't, or they struggle with health issues and they don't know what the cause of it is. I feel very passionate about that. That's why when you're looking at my Facebook post, you'll kind of see a theme. She's posting questions to make people think. So when I say something like, when was the last time you struggled to breathe? That's a question that's aimed at people who have asthma. Anything to cause people to think, she must know something about that. Like, I can't compliantly say after I ask that question, because if you do, I have just the thing for you. However, if I ask that question, it immediately causes people, they know what I do, and it causes them to think, she must know something about that. What topics are you most passionate about? For me, I'm very topic about dreaming big and believing in yourself, how you speak over yourself and how you manifest your life into place. I'm very passionate about, as you well know, about Candida, about ProBio 5, and about spirituality, those types of things. So you will also see the way I post on social media is very much putting that out there, because the truth is I'm trying to draw a certain demographic to me, people who are interested in those same things. How could your interests serve others? Well, I have seen that being very interested in dreaming big and how we have more say-so in our lives than what we give ourselves credits for, and how we don't have to be victims to what life, the hand that life has dealt us. That has proven to be a very fruitful topic for people in my life. When I share that information with people, I see little seeds be planted, and then I see the green grow from those seeds. What is something you do naturally well and others come to you for advice and help with? Okay. It was pointed out to me this week that I easily digest information about autoimmune disorders. For some reason, like I can't remember what I ate yesterday. I certainly can't remember even my own kid's phone number. All this stuff that's like will not stick, but for some reason, that stuff is important in my journey, and it's part of my gifting. It's literally a gift. Like I didn't earn it, but it is something that comes easily for me. But I want you to think about what is something that comes naturally for you. Another thing, by the way, that comes naturally for me that I feel like God is about to start using me for, which is sort of unrelated to Plexus. However, I think it continues to brand myself, is my photography. Completely unrelated. However, if I were to put a blog out that's 10 tips about, how to take better pictures or how to look beautiful in your wedding day photos, it creates a followership and a trust and establishes me as having some expert advice on something, causes people to want to listen to what I have to say. What is one thing you could do every day, even if you didn't get paid? My answer to that now is what I do now. That's truthfully, the retreat that I put on this weekend, where I felt so completely fed, like I was being fed even as I was supposed to be the teacher. And yet It was like, if you want to learn something, teach it. And I was supposed to be the teacher, yet it was just like sharing of information. And that's something I could do every day, even if I didn't get paid. What are some unique characteristics you possess? I have the ability to talk to strangers. I have the ability to interrogate people without them realizing that that's what I'm doing. I can draw information out of people in a friendly manner. Those are some great, interesting characteristics that I have. My strongest abilities. Another interesting, I should say this sort of to define between the two. So another unique characteristic that I have, and this is totally a characteristic, it has nothing to do with an ability, is I have red hair. You wouldn't believe how many conversations that strikes up. People are always say something to me about my hair because it's unusual. So I'll be like, okay, so I just have a conversation with this person. That has nothing to do with an ability. An ability, strong abilities would be probably what I answered with characteristics. An ability to make people feel comfortable in my presence. I have a strong ability to be able to transfer information to people in a way that's easy for them to digest and they don't feel judged. How do you enjoy expressing these strengths and abilities? Well, it's basically what I do now. I use a lot of them for that. But you can be very specific in these when you're talking about yourself. I'm keeping them very brief. So just to get your brain, it helps me when people give me examples. How could you use your abilities to serve others around a topic that is of great interest to you? Same answers as what I basically have built. I've been building up on that answer right there. If you could work with one person, who would that person be? This is target market stuff here. Describe their personality, their demographics, which is their age, where they live, their gender, their relationship and family status, their education level, personal interests, their values and characteristics in detail. This right here, number 10, in my opinion, is a huge manifesting tool. Imagining the types of people that you want on your team and writing it down and really putting it in your imagination and how it would make you feel to have several of the people that fit those qualities on your team. Huge. In fact, I would say that the majority of my team has come about because of number 10 for me. Why would I like to work with this person? That builds on number 10. And how would your message or brand serve this group? I hope this works. I hope you're understanding that the way this worksheet works, it's helping you to better identify how to brand yourself. Make a list of 5 to 10 problems or challenges that someone in your target market faces. Okay, in my target market, it would be people who struggle with everyday health problems that they have learned to medicate. Just your average, I'm not saying that we shouldn't go after the people who are like on their deathbed, absolutely. But I'm talking about the people whose feet itch. I'm talking about the people who use an inhaler. I'm talking about people who use cortisone cream on their arms every single day, or struggle to grow their hair for whatever reason. Their nails won't grow because of basically nourishment, can't get through the candida problem. Also, people who struggle with finances and dreaming big. Huge. That would be my target market. People who are looking for a different way to live their life other than just running the rat race. What are the 3 biggest challenges that you can help this group solve? By answering that question, this should be actually causing to turn your crank about how to draw your market to you in the way that you post on social media, in the way that you talk to people. So the 3 biggest challenges that I could help this group solve. I would want to ask people if they have a sweet tooth. Have you ever noticed how bad a sweet tooth can be? And then I can begin educating on how candida causes a sweet tooth. People whose kids are sick all the time, that's an immune system problem. Those types of things. What's the number 1 top of mind problem you will aim to solve? So that would be like something that's at the forefront of people's minds, like their finances or their health. the number one top of mind problem that you have answers for. What are their options to solving this problem? And we know what options we have, but you can list them. I would highly suggest writing them down. And what do they really want? So using the information you came up with, create a value proposition for your brand using this formula. Like, I am, brand yourself. I help the target market that you help. You help them either do or understand, basically, with your unique solution. How you put your unique solution here, so that, and then you put the transformation that you provide, so that they can overcome the issue that they have. From the value proposition, create a short, catchy tagline for your brand. An example would be lighting the fire within, which I thought that was brilliant. Like, you look back through all the questions that you answered and come up with something that you feel markets you well. And then the last page is for notes. Now, I'm gonna stop sharing. I need to see your faces again, because basically I have no idea. I couldn't see faces at all. I was talking to a blank screen. I have no idea if that actually spoke to you guys. It may have only spoken to a handful of you, and that's okay, because that's who it's intended for. You do not need to be overwhelmed with that worksheet if you're like, I just want to take the products and get my mom on the products. It's not for you. You don't have to be in leadership mode until you're ready for leadership mode. So I should have probably opened the can of worms with that. Should have said, look, if this opens up a can of worms for you and you're like, I don't want to know all of that. But many of you, I mean, so many of you who are on this weekly Zoom call are ready. You're like, this is a key to the engine. I'm ready to start. It will help you if you will use this list, print it out. If you will use it and come up with a strategy of how to more properly post on social media, it will change your game. I've never had a worksheet until now to teach people how to do it. And I was super excited about it. I was like, oh, this worksheet's going to give people the key that they need. For 1 second, give me a minute. I have to check the chat box because I haven't opened it yet, because I thought I got to be on a roll tonight. But I'm going to check the chat box to make sure I'm not like leaving people out. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, Vicki, I want to answer your question, your troubleshooting question in regards to taking the ProBio. If someone is on a blood thinner like warfarin, I think that's how they say it, or Coumadin, and they can't take the ProBio 5, first of all, the first thing that I do is I have them ask their doctor, because I have yet to have a doctor tell someone who is on that not to take the ProBio 5 after they looked at it. Hope that answers your question. If a doctor tells them not to, I don't know. I haven't faced that. Okay, well, Stacy answered that. Vicki, send me the issue with your sister, and we'll work through that. Okay, so Stacy answered that for you anyway. Okay, here we go. Going back. Carginen. Okay, so what just Laura just said, this is the stuff she's been trying to figure out on her own. I was super excited with this worksheet today. I was like, this is going to be exactly what some of you need. So I will post the worksheet for you. I highly encourage you to reach out to leaders on your team that you see, okay, look, this one's going to be a leader. I'm going to teach them how to brand themselves from the beginning, because I think that was a key in my success that I didn't know how to teach. Is from the very beginning, I accidentally branded myself. It turned out to be a great thing. And so Yeah, butterflies is another way that I have branded myself because, like you said, so many people, I probably get 10 pictures of butterflies in my inbox, either a butterfly bench, a butterfly chair, a butterfly everything. I guess like when people are out and about and they see a butterfly, they think of me, which that's way better than a toenail. It's really cool to me too. And, you know, I don't own the butterfly. Someone pointed that out to me the other day. You know, you don't own the rights to the butterfly. I said, well, I might. You don't know that for sure. I mean, I could copyright a butterfly if I wanted to. I'm just being funny about that. So, okay. I guess I need to ask, does anybody have any questions? Please, if you do, you'll have to, other than what you've put in the chat, you'll have to unmute yourself. There may be some questions tonight, and I'm okay with that.
Lori, this
Yes.
is Tammy.
Yes.
When you said be consistent, are you talking about with post or with the products? I mean, taking the products.
What was the first thing with, posts.
Yeah.
But okay. Both. I was talking about the products. That's what I got today, like this download, this drop into my spirit was like, make sure everybody's consistent on the products. That's like so key to your business that I can't explain it. But also consistent with posting about Plexus, but posting in general. I feel like if people post mostly or only about Plexus, I feel like you do harm to your business. I feel like you have to you create followership by creating friendships with people, things that make them cause them want to have a relationship with you. Highly encourage that if you're going to use social media, don't use it like an infomercial because that turns people off.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Lori, I have no clue how to deal with compliance. How do you contact them? How do you deal with them? I have no idea.
Okay. Regarding what?
Well, my daughter posts before and after pictures all the time, and people are just coming to her without her really trying. And so then I told her, well, we're going to have to start watching out about that. So now she's a little upset. She goes, well, that's how I get all my people. And so I don't even know how to tell her how to get it compliant either.
Okay. We will have a string of compliant before and afters to post before too long. I can't say for sure how long. Also, we will have a list of proper phrases to use that better describe. If I can really help you guys with this really quick to help you be more compliant. If you would, instead of naming diseases, which is like, first of all, it's the total cop-out. As Plexus ambassadors, if we jump on there and we're totally like, I had this, now it's gone. That doesn't build relationships at all. If you can instead describe, and what I'm giving you right now is a golden egg. You need to really pay attention to this in case you've tuned out. Describe on your post what that issue, that disorder, whatever it is, that health issue took away from your life, took away from your quality of life. For example, it caused you not to be able to go out and play with your kids, or it caused you to struggle, like want to stay in bed on Saturdays. If you didn't have to work, you didn't get up if you didn't have to, or if it caused you to have joint pain, or if it caused you to have headaches. All these things that you can't say, you can tell what they caused you to miss out on. That is the definition of how to be compliant and create relationships, because people connect with your heart when you talk about, this is what I lost and I regained it back. They don't know what Addison's disease is anyway, but they may way more connect with you if you just talk about the quality of life that you gained, or the quality of life that you had lost and the quality of life that you gained because of these products. I'm just telling you, I could go on and on and on and on and on about this, but it really has to do with quality of life. When people say, if somebody had said before I started Plexus, I wanted so badly to want to play with my kids, but I couldn't even find it in myself to want to, even though I wanted to want to. I would have been, where do I sign? because that is me. If they just said, I used to have Addison's disease and I don't anymore, I'd have been like, okay, I don't even know what that is. I'm pretty sure I don't have that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's a huge difference between throwing disease names out there and actually connecting with people. It makes a huge difference. And most people, that's what they're looking for, is an end result anyway. They want their joint pain to go away. They want to be able to breathe easier. And we're going to come up with, we're working on a list on the Jules page of compliant phrases that you can use. Until then, be creative. You have it in you if you will just stop yourself from your rat race and be like, okay, how can I describe today what Plexus has done for me without naming a disease? What part of my day in and day out life did it change? Did it make it where I actually planted flowers this year when I usually would not? Because I didn't want to go out and water them. Whatever it is. Does that make sense? Okay, Teresa. Somebody raised their hand. Teresa. No. Okay, does anybody else have a question? Nobody?
Hello.
Yes, I hear you now.
Oh, okay. I find that a lot of people who are really sick, seems like they don't even have any desire to get better. How do you deal with those people? I got a friend that's got diabetes and all kinds of health issues, and she said her doctor said she can't take Plexus because she has a blood disorder. For her not to take it.
Okay, I'm going to give you my 4 years of experience answer. It's probably not what you want to hear. However, it is the best. It's the best rule of thumb. I started out my career so gung-ho and even tunnel vision. I would get on these, I'm sick as a dog pages on groups on Facebook, and I would try to stand up and address the sick as a dogs. I'd be like, has anybody ever considered gut health might be the core of what was wrong with you, such and such? And I realized that they would prefer to be a support group for staying sick many times. Like, look, all we do is encourage each other of how to deal with our nasty husbands, rather than look for a solution to their problem. And
exactly.
I'm not saying that's the case with everyone, but the best answer how to eventually get their attention is to get their neighbor well.
Okay.
Their sister well. Your sister well. Someone who knows them besides you, because just you saying it or just you knowing it doesn't change. I mean, you can tell it to them, but when you have resistance, all it really does is put a dent in the side of your door to let them tell you why you're crazy. And the truth is, we're not crazy. I can tell you right now. I went around for a year thinking maybe I was dreaming what was going on in my life, as all the people in my life, one at a time, literally completely got well. And then I was like, I don't think I'm dreaming. I think this is really happening. I have to tell the world about it. And as you start telling the world about it, they are going to want to kick you in the shin. And I'm not speaking that on you, but I am speaking from what was my experience. And those people are not ready yet. But that doesn't mean you can't circle back around and say, hey, just wanted to share with you about your cousin. I don't know if you know yet, but she doesn't have to use her inhaler anymore. And I was just so excited when I heard that, and then see what they have to say. Also, my other tip for that is to pray the stubborn out of them. People are so blooming stubborn. And I found that I can't do anything about that. That's way out of my hands. And so the Holy Spirit usually has to deal with people in those situations. I know that's.
I say just bless.
Yeah,
bless them.
on that note, I was at the grocery store one day. Go ahead.
I'm listening.
Okay. I was at the grocery store one day, and I ran into a cousin of my husband's boss, and I asked him, I said, well, I saw all the box stuff he had when he was buying groceries, all the box, snack cakes, everything. And I told him, I said, I noticed that you got all this box stuff. I said, have you ever thought about taking Plexus? He said, yeah, I've heard of it, but I don't have anything wrong with me. Well, I thought, okay, I'll let it go. But everybody has something wrong with them, whether it's not enough energy, something that they could benefit from taking Plexus. And I just kind of laughed to myself about it. I just thought, well, that's the type of person that doesn't want help. So I just didn't do it anymore.
I started off down the road you're going on right now. I started off on that road, and I realized, I wish I had realized this sooner, that there's an easier audience out there than the people who need it as bad as you think they need it. Like, the easier audience sometimes has more to do with, okay, let me explain this to you. One of the things that irritated me the most was the fact that I was expected to be a curvy woman and wear a shirt around that said slim really big across my back shoulders, the back of my shoulders. And it's like, why can't we call it something else? Like, I never did understand that. And then at Houston Super Saturday, not this past January, but the one before, I was sitting there and I realized we did the night before we did an opportunity event. And as they came across giving their testimonies, each person that got up told a testimony that every single one of them was worth writing a book about. It was like, I can't believe you were that sick and now you're not that sick anymore. And there were 10 of them. We could have had more people, but we just limited it. And I realized that at the end of each testimony, they said, oh yeah, and I lost 8 pounds, or oh yeah, and I lost 40 pounds, or whatever the truth was. But every single one of them said they started the products to lose weight. And I was like, had my epiphany. I was like, okay, they were all sick as a dog. I'm telling you, like, couldn't get out of bed sick, but they wanted to wear a skinnier pant size. And that was their motivation for getting on the product. And I was like, why are women so weird? We're so weird like that. I mean, it's like something's wrong. But the hook in the mouth worked. And then they found their results. Now, why I started talking about this, I am not sure. Oh, yes, because of the fact that you were saying the people that need it the most generally will start it for the weirdest reasons, or you can't get them to start it at all. However, the easy market is the people who are wanting to lose a little bit of weight or need help with their finances. And if you'll at least tackle that, instead of the stranger at the grocery store or whatever, if you'll tackle a little bit of that, and just put it out there for people who want to lose weight, you'll be surprised at the cool testimonies you'll get, just because the weight loss was a hook in the mouth. Hang on, I'm going to answer a question I just saw pop up. Okay, Brandy Newman said, Lori, a while back you shared a video about our why. It was a Simon Sinek TED Talk. His book goes deeper. You mentioned attracting the type of people you want to work with. His book talks about not only finding your why, but also using your why to attract those with similar whys. And it mirrored what you were saying, I thought. That's absolutely right. Simon Sinek was one of the first people I followed when I got involved in Plexus, because I could see that the way I worked my business was different than most people. And when people would ask me for tips, I'd be like, I don't know, because I don't do it Eric Worre style, and more than likely never will do it Eric Worre style. I attracted a followership by putting out there my why constantly. And once I realized that's what I was doing, I started typing that in, a powerful why. Why your leadership and why. I used the word why when I was Googling, and I came across his videos and his books. Start with Why is a great book. Another one that is also a Simon Sinek, and it's spelled Sinek, if you didn't see what she actually posted. Simon Sinek, Sinek. Another powerful one is Leaders Eat Last. Such a good, I've listened to it on audio, and it's so good about talking about how You can create a followership in people. Lots of the businesses that will be around for the rest of our lives don't use things like clearance sales or constant promos and specials in order to create a followership. The ones that will be around for the rest of our lives are the ones that connect with people and have a product that is valuable to today's needs, and that don't actually turn to gimmicks. And when I read, it resonated with me so much. I was like, yeah, because gimmicks don't create a firm foundation. And I've really challenged you guys to really build your business on a firm foundation, because if you want this to be a 4-year career rather than a, I never did get it going, or I never was able to, be a flip-flop CEO because I never could get it going. The key to it is building it on a firm foundation, which means not building it on gimmicks, not building it on the $34.95 wholesale club, and not building it solely on weight loss. To me, that's my opinion. We have actually come to the end of our time, but I do want to pray over you guys. I feel very led to pray over you guys tonight. I have a whole bunch that's like bubbling up inside me. I will share the documents and such that we talked about on tonight's call on the butterfly page. I'll try to share them under this YouTube video as well, because if I don't, people will start messaging me asking me about it. So, okay. Let's just have you guys, let's go into our hearts tonight before we get started. Let's get out of our heads, because I was teaching my people this week at our leaders retreat. I said, the reason positive affirmations don't work is because positive affirmations are a seed that's planted inside our heart. But we always live like rat race style. We live inside our heads. And if you live inside your head and you never visit your heart, you don't water it, and you don't give it sunshine that it needs to grow. So I want you to take a second and try to, be still and know who God is. And I want you to just kind of go into your heart for a second. If it helps you, it always helps me to literally put my hand on my heart. And just breathe in and out for a second. Cancel out today. Cancel out what's going on in your life. Okay, I'm going to talk to you for a second before I actually start praying. I'm going to tell you something that I learned, and I taught this week, and I feel like I'm supposed to teach it to you guys tonight. I feel like that we have a book of our life that has pages in it that tell the story of our life, and that like you could open it up to today's page, and it would show me hanging out with my daughter and her friend, and it would show me doing what I'm doing right now. I'm doing this Zoom call, and that tomorrow's page is not yet determined. I mean, there's free will written in there, but I feel like the Lord is saying, prophesy to that book. You tell it what will happen next. I planted a piece of the Holy Spirit inside of you. I live inside you. You're created in my image, and you can prophesy to your book. And I encourage you, after we're off of this call tonight, I encourage you to begin to look at your life that way. Like, tomorrow is not written yet. I'm not a victim. And begin to prophesy out loud and speak out loud what you see, what your heart sees your life being. If you feel like you are a victim, I encourage you to release that. If you feel like you have always lived in poverty, you've always shopped clearance sales, you've never had anyone who took good care of you, like nobody ever took good care of me. I encourage you tonight to release that. Send it back where it came from. You say, I send that back where it came from, and I don't plan on it harming anybody, but I want it to go back where it came from, because that is a lie. The Lord wants to take care of me. The Lord wants to take care of my business. He wants my family to prosper. And I prophesy that over the book of my life. I speak life into my book. I speak prosperity. I say that from now on, I don't have to be a victim. I can be a child of the one true King, and that would make me a princess. and everything that implies. If my Father is a king, then why would I not have every blessing in the world raining down on me? Like literally chasing me down. Blessings chase me down. That's my positive affirmation. Blessings chase me down. And I feel it in my heart. I don't have that up inside my head. I feel that in my heart. And Lord, I just come to you tonight and I just speak over everyone tonight. I pray that they receive this message in the way that it's intended and not a way that scares them or makes them worrisome, but instead of in a way that speaks your life and your truth and the light of who you are and the holiness and the author and finisher of our faith that you are. That as we begin to prophesy over the book of our life and we begin to speak into existence the coming days, what's going to happen in the rest of this year, I speak over this butterfly team that we are going to prosper in ways and bloom in ways that the Lord is so excited. He has them up and it's like, I have all of these blessings in houses up for you. And you were too afraid to even say it out loud. Lord, give me prosperity. Give me abundance. I will give you the glory back, Lord, but I ask you to pour down your love and your mercy and your grace onto me and my family. Pour that down onto us, Lord. I lift up any of us who need to ask for forgiveness tonight. I lift that up. I say, Lord, and you need to say this. I'm saying it out loud. I'm giving you an example. Lord, forgive me for the fact that I struggle with forgiveness myself. I want to lay that down tonight. I want to not be shackled or burdened anymore by the fact that I have resentment or burdens in my heart in regards to other people, relationships, or situations that have happened in my life, Lord. I want to lay that down. Lord, I ask you forgive me for a habit or this is just what I'm feeling in my heart. Something that I do that's unholy and not worthy of your name, Lord. Something that I do something I practice, something I'm involved with that is not of you, Lord. I just lay that down at your feet tonight. And if I don't, maybe it's something you're involved with, you don't know. But Lord, show it to me. Like, that blazing, whatever it is, that blazing red light of caution, show me, Lord, that is not holy and not what you want for my life. And then choose to lay that down and ask for forgiveness. He will forgive you. It's like that. It's instantaneous. It's all a matter of your heart anyway. It's not like once you become holy, he will forgive you. It's a matter of your heart changing, repenting. Repent. Pent means to bring you back to the top. Pent, like the penthouse, it's at the top. And you want to be back in your A game. You want to be back in God's righteousness, his holiness, his mercy, his love. You want to be back there where you were. You want to repent. Lord, I lay this down at your feet tonight. If you need to ask for forgiveness for situations where you actually are the one that needs forgiveness, where you have hurt someone, you've done something and you need to make a situation right, I feel that the Lord's calling you to do that tonight. He's saying, hang your stupid pride put it on the shelf, put it away, pack it away, or burn it. But reach out to that broken relationship and take those first steps to mend that relationship. It's like we have to deal with all of that stuff because we literally have put our own blessing blocker up. We want the rain, we want the shower, we want the abundance, we want your holy anointing on our lives. We want it on our business. We want it on our families. We want our families protected and all this, but we've put a blessing blocker out there. We said, whoop, I'm shielding myself from that blessing because I choose to live. I'm choosing myself. I have chosen basically to walk in unforgiveness, yet I want forgiveness. And the Lord says that is contradictory news. You can't do that. So put the blessing blocker down, lay it at his feet, ask for forgiveness for it, and then begin to prophesy. Lord, This is what I see for my family in the rest of this year. We're getting to where we're almost to the halfway mark of this year, and I feel like the rest of this year is going to unfold and bloom in ways that we couldn't possibly imagine. However, I challenge you. The Lord is challenging you to imagine it. Speak it over your life. I challenge you, when you go to bed tonight, have a prayer session with your spouse, even if it's the first time you've ever had a prayer session with your spouse. Look, I know this is uncomfortable. I don't like to pray out loud in front of people, or I've never prayed before. But tonight I want to give it a try. And I want to lift up to you, Lord, tonight. Wherever their heart is, you are molding it right now to make it where they can have this session, even if it's uncomfortable, with their spouse out loud. Look, I want to do this. I've heard the statistics. I know how marriages fail. And I want to build strength in our marriage. I want to pray with you. And then as you begin to pray, I want you to prophesy. I want you to speak life into your marriage. I want you to speak life into your kids who are unruly. I want you to speak life into your kids that ended the school year like as a disgrace. You're like, they will never get it. You break that curse off of that kid. You say, I will never let that come out of my mouth. I will never curse my kid like that again. I will not speak anything but blessings and light and abundance on my child. My child is so disrespectful. No, do not speak that on your child. Your child is a child of the one true King, just like you are. And they are dependent on us not to speak curses, but only to speak blessings and life on them. I'm sweating. I'm sorry. Lord, we just want to feel your love tonight. We want to feel it glowing in our hearts, just so thick and abundant. I just want to lift up Jetty's family tonight. We, the ones that are in Kentucky right now, went through the funeral today. We lost grandma this week. And it has been, I'm sure, a struggle for all of them that have gone through the funeral today. And it's been a struggle for me and the kids to be away from them while they're gone. While Jetty's gone, be away from him. I don't struggle with Mama, though. I don't struggle with where she is. I know where she is. That woman was a child of the one true King. And she prayed abundance and blessings on her family like the short little redheaded firecracker that she was. And I encourage you that be your legacy, that you go down one of these days in flames praying for your family, praying abundance and blessing and prosperity and forgiveness and no blessing blockers and no curses on your family, that it all be broken off. That's what I pray on your families. And that's what I prophesy onto this team. I say this team is going to be a record breaker, a chart topper, and the ranks will only be a symbol of the lives we've transformed and changed along the way. I lift this all up in Jesus' name. Amen. Oh, goodness. Down in the
That was great, Lori. Thank you.
My hair is making me sweat. Something's making me sweat. I got to get my hair off of my neck tonight. Somebody's down in the bottom right-hand corner. I don't know if it's the same on everybody's, but Megan Bryan's Molinex, her screen saver icon thing that she has for her profile. When I opened my eyes after that prayer, it looked like that was the face that she was making. I was like, yeah, I know it, right, sister? So, okay. Anyway, woo! Okay. I'm gonna have to listen back to this to even know what all I just said, but I know it all came from my heart. It came from the Holy Spirit. So, goodness gracious, I've got the general gist of it in my mind, and I just feel like so many of the things that we talked about tonight, but also so many of the things I prayed about tonight are key for so many of you in your next step. I'm always one of those next step people. I wake up in the mornings, I'm like, Lord, what do you have in store for me today? What am I supposed to do today? I didn't always do that. I didn't really care, to be quite candid with you. That was the last of my concern until just a few years ago. But now I wake up and I'm like, Lord, what do you have in store for me today? And I encourage you to be like that I encourage you to be like that. Every morning, wake up and be like, tell me what you have in your plan for me today, Lord. Show me what you needed me to do. Let me be an instrument of your glory, of your grace, your mercy. Put miracles inside me, Lord. I'm open to miracles. I'm open to them. I'm just telling y'all right now. I'm going to confess that right now. Lord want to put up a miracle up inside me. I'd be like, I'm laying hands on people then, because I'm going to manifest some miracles. And I highly encourage you butterflies, because I've drawn in I put my vibe out for my tribe. And I drew my tribe in because I branded myself. I didn't know that's what I did, but it is. And I got a lot of people out there who are miracle workers. I know it. I can see it in your eyes and your profile pictures. You have miracles up inside you. All you got to do is get somebody to stand still and believe it yourself. Hold still. I'm going to lay my hands on you and we're going to see miracles. So I probably get way weird for some of you people who don't know me yet, but you'll grow to love me, I promise. Anyway, you guys have a super night. If anybody has any major questions or whatever, I'm going to hang around for a few more minutes. I think I'm all going, I need to go get in the hot tub, except for I'm sweating. That don't really make a lot of sense. But peace out. You guys have a super night. I'm going to stop recording in case that's keeping in.